The Nauvoo Expositor was a newspaper in Mormon-controlled Nauvoo, Illinois in 1844. It was destroyed by Mormon Prophet Joseph Smith for printing criticisms of him relating to illegal and immoral practices. The publishers of the newspaper included William Law, who was Smith's second counselor in the First Presidency, and other members of the church such as military leaders in the Mormon Nauvoo Legion, a Mormon bishop, and others. One of the accusations against Joseph Smith and the other leaders of the church was the human trafficking of women from foreign countries. They were converted overseas and brought to Nauvoo to join the church, but once they arrived they were told they would be a spiritual wife of one of the leaders. The women, having traveled thousands of miles and under the pressure of the leadership of the church, could not refuse. The Expositor newspaper stated, "It is a notorious fact that many females in foreign climes and in countries to us unknown, even in the most distant regions of the Eastern Hemisphere, have been induced, by the sound of the gospel, to forsake friends and embark upon a voyage across waters that lie stretched over the greater portion of the globe, as they supposed, to glorify God, that they might thereby stand acquitted in the great day of God Almighty. But what is taught them on their arrival at this place? They are visited by some of the strikers, for we know not what else to call them, and are requested to hold on and be faithful. For there are great blessings awaiting the righteous, and that God has great mysteries in store for those who love the Lord and cling to Brother Joseph. They are also notified that Brother Joseph will see them soon and reveal the mysteries of heaven to their full understanding, which seldom fails to inspire them with new confidence in the prophet, as well as a great anxiety to know what God has laid up in store for them, in return for the great sacrifice of father, of mother, of gold and silver, which they gladly left far behind, that they might be gathered into the fold and numbered among the chosen of God. They are visited again, and what is the result? They are requested to meet Brother Joseph, or some of the 12, at some insulated point, or at some particularly described place on the bank of the Mississippi, or at some room which wears upon its front positively no admittance. The harmless, inoffensive, and unsuspecting creatures are so devoted to the prophet and the cause of Jesus Christ that they do not dream of the deep-laid and fatal scheme which prostrates happiness and renders death itself desirable. But they meet him, expecting to receive through him a blessing, and learn the will of the Lord concerning them, and what awaits the faithful follower of Joseph, the apostle and prophet of God, when in the stead thereof they are told, after having been sworn in one of the most solemn manners, to never divulge what is revealed to them, with a penalty of death attached, that God Almighty has revealed it to him, that she should be his spiritual wife, for it was right anciently, and God will tolerate it again. But we must keep those pleasures and blessings from the world, for until there is a change in the government, we will endanger ourselves by practicing it. But we can enjoy the blessings of Jacob, David, and others, as well as to be deprived of them, if we do not expose ourselves to the law of the land. She is thunderstruck, faints, recovers, and refuses. The prophet damns her if she rejects. She thinks of the great sacrifice and of the many thousand miles she has traveled over sea and land, that she might save her soul from pending ruin, and replies, "God's will be done, and not mine." The prophet and his devotees in this way are gratified. The next step to avoid public exposition from the common course of things. They are sent away for a time, until all is well, after which they return, as from a long visit. Those whom no power or influence could seduce, except that which is wielded by some individual feigning to be a god, must realize the remarks of an able writer, when he says, "If woman's feelings are turned to ministers of sorrow, where shall she look for consolation? Her lot is to be wooed and won. Her heart is like some fortress that has been captured, sacked, abandoned, and left desolate. With her, the desire of the heart has failed. The great charm of existence is at an end. She neglects all the cheerful exercise of life, which gladden the spirits, quicken the pulses, and send the tide of life in healthful currents through the veins. Her rest is broken. The sweet refreshment of sleep is poisoned by melancholy dreams. Dry sorrow drinks her blood, until her enfeebled frame sinks under the slightest external injury. Look for her after a little while, and you find friendship weeping over her untimely grave, and wondering that one, who but so recently glowed with all the radiance of health and beauty, should so speedily be brought down to darkness and despair. You will be told of some wintry chill, of some casual indisposition that laid her low, but no one knows of the mental malady that previously sapped her strength, and made her so easy a prey to the spoiler. She is like some tender tree, the pride and beauty of the grove, graceful in its form, bright in its foliage, but with the worm preying at its heart. We find it withered when it should be most luxuriant. We see it drooping its branches to the earth, and shedding leaf by leaf until wasted and perished away. It falls in the stillness of the forest, and as we muse over the beautiful ruin, we strive in vain to recollect the blast or thunderbolt that could have smitten it with decay. But no one knows the cause except the foul fiend who perpetrated the diabolical deed. Our hearts have mourned and bled at the wretched and miserable condition of females in this place. Many orphans have been the victims of misery and wretchedness, through the influence that has been exerted over them, under the cloak of religion, and afterwards, in consequence of that jealous disposition which predominates over the minds of some. have been turned upon a wide world, fatherless and motherless, destitute of friends and fortune, and robbed of that which nothing but death can restore. It is difficult, perhaps impossible, to describe the wretchedness of females in this place, without wounding the feelings of the benevolent, or shocking the delicacy of the refined. But the truth shall come to the world,